Hello, friends, and welcome to the Purple Mountain Live on Facebook, or if you're watching us on YouTube, it's Chris and Stephen, the Purple Mountain, here in sunny Fleetwood. We hope everybody's keeping well and doing well and staying positive in these times, keeping yourselves busy. And we come to you this evening to do a special talk on meditation, the practices of meditation, and also the benefits. And we're going to have a good talk about this topic between myself and Stephen. But this is interactive if you're watching on Facebook Live. So please feel free to ask any questions during the course of this evening's talk. And I just want to start off this talk this evening by beginning our journey here at the Purple Mountain Spiritual Centre, and what was a home circle. That's how it started many years ago. And one of the firm practices that has never changed from beginning to right now is the practice of meditation in every single thing we do. And meditation is within all our circles that we've ever run and still do run. We even would meditate when we do our Thursday services. The team, or the caretakers, as we say, for the night, would meditate before and prepare ourselves for the evening's work. We practice meditation, all the volunteers and team members, all the healers, therapists at the Purple Mountains, mediums, and myself and Stephen practice meditation within our mediumship when we travel. It's practiced in all our circles. So it just struck me tonight before we started that from start to finish, meditation is the one thing that's been an absolute constant as things change and progress. That is a solid staple, and it can bring much balance and calm. And we are presented with a great opportunity at the moment because there are a great number of people with more time on their hands. And we find ourselves left, right, and centre with so many things that don't really nourish us. Things we have on TV, radio, and such that are there to program us and really keep us where we're at. And to take ourselves within meditation, we become boundless. We become more than just the here and now. Become everything and everywhere in a way. But we're going to expand on that. Also, we're going to be practical tonight. We're going to give you some techniques as well. So we're going to give you something to take away from this. So if you haven't meditated before, you're welcome here. If you have meditated and you're looking at, there's so many different ways to meditate, so many different techniques. So I'm just going to hand over to Stephen, first of all, because we don't like him staying quiet for too long on these talks. It starts to worry us. We think his screen might have froze or something.
No.
So the practice of meditation, and I'm going to start off with a question for you, Stephen, before we start, which is the practice of meditation, aside from all the groups you might be involved with, to you, how important is the practice of meditation in what you do on your journey, past, present, and what's to come?
I think what's really important to remember is many years ago when I got into meditation, I have to admit, I was very, very lazy about it. And I probably meditated only in circle on the Wednesday night. And our teachers, our gurus in our circle, the leaders of the circle, would try to always reinforce the importance of meditation. And I think what I've learned over the years is that you have to really believe in the benefits of meditation. You have to practice it yourself. It's no good for me and Chris and any other guru, any other teacher try to, in a way, sell the importance of meditation.
Yeah.
You have to take that leap. You have to take that step into meditation, and there are thousands of different techniques of meditation. But personally, I've come to really lean on and rely on my meditational practices, and really I adopt different meditational practices depending on what mood and what my body, what my mind, what my spirit requires at that time. I enjoy meditating before bed because I know that I have sleep problems, and without meditating before sleep, I would struggle. I would struggle with sleep, switching my mind off. I've got a very active mind, so it's a very, very effective tool for me. Though for years I didn't adopt meditation before sleep, and I suffered from sleep problems on and off for years. So really, it was my suffering that I end up leaning towards and using meditation as an effective tool to my meditational practices. I use meditation also, which I find very useful for me before I start my spiritual work, because I think that settles your mind, it strengthens your links. So probably we'll talk about this later on, the different forms of meditations. But the basic of meditation is so simple. It requires no money. It requires no training. Everybody can meditate in the world. And for me, devote yourself, devote your time every day. And I try to devote myself every day, if it's 10 minutes to an hour of meditation every day, because my body, because once you sort of, I find, Chris, once you sort of get into a really good routine of meditation, your body then calls out and sends those signals to say it's time to meditate. And really, then when maybe a couple of years before, it would take me 10, 20 minutes to get into meditation properly, I would it would take me now less than 2 minutes to get into meditation. So that's my
very. I think you've been very honest there, because I feel quite often, and this is only from experience, it's quite a discipline. I feel meditation, and the more you can discipline yourself, it's good to have a certain time of day or a certain practice. For example, the room you're going to meditate in is very important. Start from the basic. What room do you feel most comfortable in? And a very good way to find that is to meditate in different areas of your home, or just be drawn to the right area and set a time, set an intention. You've heard us talk about the power of intention quite a lot on these videos, and it is important. Set your intention, and what I want to say is, well, it doesn't have to be 30 minutes, an hour to begin with. 10 minutes. Like Stephen said, how many out there suffer with sleep problems or getting to sleep at night? And what is 10 minutes before you go to bed to practice a meditation? And I feel Stephen made another good point there, is that once you begin to get into the practice, you'll find you're being called to it as well, which is great. It shows signs of moving on.
It's a ritual. It's a ritual that we can all adopt in our everyday life, because a lot of people see meditation as quite religious, and actually it's furthest from the truth. It's a simple tool, I call it a self-healing tool. And I think in the society, the culture that we all live in, meditations, I think, is an essential part of our self-healing ritual that we can adopt each and every day. But I would like to add as well there, which I think is really important, those that are interested in beginning to meditation. And I think I often find as well, because when we've done a lot of teaching sessions, Chris, at the Purple Mountain over the years, and we one of our big things we all say is learn to meditate. It's the basics, and every single aspect of the work, adopt meditation, because it is fundamentally important. But I also would like to say is that a lot of people begin with practicing meditation, but often find slipping. It's like diets. People start off really well, and then they slip off the wagon. And I sort of feel that what's really important and an effective tool to use in combating this issue of falling off, because people will start off really well for a week, 2 weeks, and then they will slip in. Oh, I'll meditate later, or I'll meditate tomorrow, and they'll soon slip off. And we've been there, Chris, haven't we? We've slipped off from that wagon. So really, my advisement to anybody is setting your intention. And I think this is really, really important. Probably the most important part of meditation is that you have to, don't just meditate because you have to, or because someone's forced you to, or somebody said, right, this is what's going to work for you. You have to do meditation for you, and you have to believe why you are meditating. So setting your intention, I set my intention in the evening. I'm setting my intention in spirit, and I show gratitude, and I say a bit of a prayer in my meditation, and within about 20 minutes, I'm fast asleep. And that's the power of my meditation, because I set my intention. My intention is to use meditation for my sleep. Sometimes I set my intention, right, I'm at the center, I'm sitting on the couch, I'm ready for my readings, I've got a day of readings coming up. I'm going to dedicate my next 15 minutes into a meditation and contemplation session, closing my eyes, and I'm setting my intention and calling on my guides and inspiring. So I'm setting my intention. You can set your intention. Chris does this without him knowing. Chris does a lot of walking on the beach.
I should open now.
Yeah. That also, when we talk about different forms of Zen meditations or nature meditation, you can meditate actually with your eyes open. You can actually walk on the beach in your own space and create your own meditation. So there's different forms of meditation, but intention, set your intention. That is really important. And that will stop you from falling off the wagon, because a lot of people start off really well and then they give up. So it's really hard to maintain that. Amy mentioned it the other day, Chris, what really struck a really important chord in me. It really echoed really, really important to me is I've used personally the word discipline a lot in my teachings, and I sort of move away from that, because I like using the word devotion. Devote your time and your energy every day to meditation. So I just wanted to share you there a little bit of advisement for my own experience. I mean, what's your thoughts on that, Chris?
I completely agree, and I think it makes a good point that it doesn't have to be necessarily in the home. It could be a space in the garden, or you can meditate walking around in a way. You can be in that space that you create, and I feel it's something we can all do. But what I wanted to talk about is something I'm quite passionate about, that's important to me, is guided meditations, and it's something I've always been drawn to. I don't always personally meditate using them, but I've always liked using them within classes and within our circles, because a lot of meditation, depending on your intention, which I feel that word's going to get used probably a lot within this next hour, is that meditation isn't always about drifting away and sort of finding yourself in a cloud and disappearing. It can be work too. You can be doing deep inner work. You can be connecting with your guides, your loved ones, your family members. And I find there's so many different guided meditations, and for not only for starters, but I actually find that a lot of people who are experiencing meditating struggle with some guided meditations, and I think it helps with your, I don't want to say discipline now, so I said devotion. It helps with your devotion to it. And there are many different guided meditations ranging from 10 minutes to an hour. And actually the two I would recommend very highly, well, there's three now actually, there's a gentleman called Kenneth Soares. He does some excellent guided meditations. David G, which is a little bit shorter, about 15 minutes, and they are very good as well. And also Jason Stevenson, no relation. He's very good as well, and you can find them all on YouTube or Spotify or whatever you use. And they're very helpful meditations, and they can also be, you can do a lot of deep work with them depending. You can, like there are sleep guided meditations you can do. There are healing ones. They're all different types. So I would actually highly recommend guided meditations. And even if it's like with many things, a certain practice might serve you up to a certain point, then you feel you might need a change. And music, for those who meditate to music or guided meditations is very important because we're all drawn to different types of music, different vibrations. So again, it's finding what fits right for you. And there are many people who just enjoy the silence. And one of our teachers, Little Raven, he always passed forward meditation in its simplest form is to just sit within the silence. So it doesn't always have to be something grandiose and all this, a big thing built up. It's simply lighting a candle and sitting there meditating and going within yourself and your true being. So I don't know what I know you enjoy some guided med as well.
Yeah, it's something that helped me in the very early stages of my meditational practices, and I found that guided meditations were very effective for me. But then, we're only sharing our own experiences. A lot of our teachers were sharing their experiences with us, but ultimately, you have to find what's right for you. You have to find that right piece of music, that guided meditation that works for you. But I like to add as well, Chris was absolutely spot on there, is that depending on me personally, depending on my mood and what my being requires at that time. Sometimes I like Native American Indian flute music, and that will help me. Sometimes I like Tibetan sounds, but at the moment, the past couple of months, I really appreciate. That's a better word. I appreciate the silence a lot more. I find they're very effective for me, and they really help switch my mind off from the everyday thoughts and feelings and emotions and worries and fears of the world. But traditionally, if anybody wants to go and really devote themselves into a meditational practice, is traditionally there is no music ever used in meditational practices. Believe it or not, music is cultivated through the Western culture. In traditional meditational practices, it's done in nature, and there's no silence in nature. And that's why if you want to sort of discipline yourself and devote yourself, use natural sounds, use waters, fire sounds, water sounds, nature sounds. They are very, very effective, and that will help because there is something in the brain that tries to, particularly with man-made music, the brain tries to compute, and actually you don't really switch off. It's not really as beneficial as you think as you think they are. So natural sounds, your brain can't piece together. So the natural sounds is a very, very good way of incorporating if you want to use music or sounds in your meditational practices. But I like to add as well, Chris, and I sort of share my thoughts on this, because another thing, Chris, that people often talk about is, and probably a lot of people that are listening tonight can relate to this if they're practicing meditation. It happens to me and Chris and to our circle all the time. I'm sitting in meditation and all these thoughts are coming to me with a vengeance.
Yeah.
All the shopping that I need to do, I need to sort my children out. And any teacher or any practice that says to you, and I'm saying this to you now, that says it's about completely switching and controlling the thoughts, because the more you try to control the thoughts, the more you try to push them out, the more they're going to come back. It is impossible not to think. It's impossible. Your mind cannot work that way. So meditation practices is not about controlling thoughts or controlling thoughts or trying to push those thoughts out. It's about raising your vibrations above your thoughts, because the thoughts are always there. It's just silencing them. And it's almost like I was likened it to drifting above a cloud. So the clouds are your thoughts and you are meditating above the clouds. And to master those sort of that technique can take many years, many months, depends on your devotion, depends on your commitment, practice every single day. So really, when your thoughts do come to you, you're shopping, oh my God, I've got light bulbs to change, or I've got things to do later on. Let those thoughts come to you. The more you try to control them, the more they're going to come back. So let them sweep in like the wind and let them sweep back out. So they're coming to you for a reason. So appreciate those thoughts. You are working with those thoughts. So it's impossible not to think. So if you ever read or you ever watch videos that said it's about controlling thoughts, eradicating thoughts, it's impossible. It is impossible. So what's your experience? Does that happen to you, Chris, or to thoughts coming to you?
Oh yeah, I think it happens to everybody. We sit down and we start thinking about what we're doing tomorrow or something, or I've got this bill to pay, or things come in, and Stephen got it right there where he says, don't push them out, because then you completely come away from that space you're in. Just let them run the course. Just go with the flow that way, and don't be too hard on yourself. Within the practice of meditation, so many can be really hard on themselves at the beginning and say, I'm not getting to where I should be, and I should be this, and where you are is exactly where you should be. Just remember that. So if you have a meditation and you enjoy it, and you think, well, I thought about a lot of things during, for example, I started thinking about a shopping or a particular problem. Don't worry, and just if you practice and continue practicing, those physical thoughts will be left to one side. But you're not going to achieve this in one day or one session. It's like with everything, it requires your participation, your dedication. And the more you dedicate yourself to anything, the more you'll get back out of it. But, if there's certainly one thing I would recommend in any form, even if you're not involved in any spiritual work, meditation. If we could all meditate, I mean, I'd love to see it in schools and brought in, and I feel it's something we'd all benefit from. I mean, there's so many out there suffering from anxiety, or it's the overworking of the mind. Our minds are overworked in the Western world, in the world we live in. And the world's been a little bit slower the last year, but not too much in many ways. And we can slow that pace down, and we take ourselves away in meditation, away from those overpowering thoughts of the mind, and we come into our true being, our spirit, and start to realign and start to get clarity and peace. And normally the response you get is, well, I can't meditate. And I can guarantee everybody who's watching, you can all meditate, every single person. It's just a matter of finding the practice and finding the space, giving yourself that space. It's giving yourself love and care. It's part of that practice. Stephen mentioned about walks and going for walks and things like this. It's all part of self-care. And this is part of the journey, whether you want to be involved in healing or clairvoyance, that side of the way. It all starts with that self-care. The more you find who you are and find that balance, everything else will start to become that little bit more easier. But in terms, there's a very good technique that we've used for many years here, and it's simply using a candle. And you can sit in meditation. Now, we use a technique a lot here at the Purple Mountain called the sky pose, and you're not able to see below my waist here. But basically, we put our hands just on our lap, anywhere you're comfortable with, hands up like that, okay, in a comfortable position with your back straight. And what you can do is just light a single candle, maybe on a tea light or a candle, and you sit there, close your eyes, take some nice gentle breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now, if you find yourself in that meditation losing your concentration, or you feel earthly thoughts are coming in, you're starting to think of thoughts that you find distracting, just open your eyes and bring yourself back to that candle. And then when you close your eyes, try and visualize the candle, and that will keep you in that energy. It's a very good way of disciplining yourself in a meditation. And it's a really good technique that to use. It's always had very good feedback from those who use it.
Yeah, and there's lots of different ways. And I just want to mention as well that, when I got into meditation, if you use the word meditation, you think, oh wow, it's Buddhists, it's people that in Buddhism that does meditation. But meditation is practiced nearly by every society and culture across the world, and everybody will adopt their own techniques. So don't feel overwhelmed. I just want to say it's so simple. And you want to say it's so simple, but you have to commit yourself. You have to devote yourself to those daily practices. I would say daily practices, not weekly practices. Try it every day for 10 minutes, and you will see the changes in you, and let people see the changes in you. But ultimately, the basics are sitting on a chair. You know, I know that sometimes, particularly in people that want to dedicate themselves into a deeper meditation, they will adopt half lotus poses or full lotus pose and have the legs crossed. That's not always necessary. I would, you know, those that are starting, try sitting not in a too comfortable chair, because one thing you don't want to happen, and people will probably laugh and comment, is when you fall asleep, you're not meditating. What's happened is that you've got to train your brain. So meditation is not sleeping. Though I have mentioned earlier on that I use meditation to assist with my sleep, but meditation is not sleep.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I say. So when people say, well, I fall asleep, yeah, that's good. You're getting the healing. That's fantastic. You know, that's happened to all of us. But meditation, so when you fall asleep, you're not meditating. What's happening there is you've got to find a disciplined pose that will train your brain. So everything's about the mind. Everything begins with the mind. Train the mind that, you know, if you're going to sit in a very comfortable position, you've got a blanket on you, the brain's going to think you go to sleep. So you're going to go to sleep. So that's really important to mention as well. But ultimately, meditations at its core is simple. You sit on the chair, sky pose, back straight, have loose clothing. You are in an environment that is right for you. I like meditating in my office or in my bedroom. There is rooms for people. You will find that right environment. But Chris made an excellent point there, because it leads me on to another part of today's discussion, which is concentration techniques. Because as I said, there's only a couple very simple techniques in terms of your pose, your body pose, preparing your body to meditate. But there are thousands of different tools that you can use to help guide you in meditation. So people struggle in meditate. Very simple, switching the mind or calming the mind, just pushing the mind to one side. That's all these tools would do. The tools are there to push that mind to one side for you to lift above the mind, so you can reach that state of bliss, contemplation, healing. So it's just about, because it's the mind, the ego, the mind that gets in the way of that self-healing meditation. That takes years to practice. Chris mentioned just one thing there, which is the candlelight. Candlelight is a tool. We use this word in our teachings, is only a tool to use to help you in your concentration. So what you want to do is to adopt the right tool that be right for you. I don't personally like the candlelight. I like using breath work. I find breath work, and probably Chris will talk about that in a minute as well, that breath work is another tool that you can use to help you find that state of bliss in your meditation. So there's hundreds of different tools that anybody can use. Music's just a tool. Music is a guide. A candlelight is a guide. The breath is a guide. It's like water. It's a river. It guides you to that state of bliss, that state where you're able to really get rid of the feelings of the body, so you don't feel the body, and you reach that state of bliss, of joy, of happiness. And when you can reach that, and when you can master that, you then won't need things like the candlelight and breath work to reach you there, because it will be automatic. Because what you've done, you're training the mind, you're training the body. That's all you're doing. You're reprogramming, reconditioning. So it may seem like it's a chore, but again, go back to your intention. You've got to believe in what you're doing. You can't just do something because I'm telling you to do it, because you won't believe it. And 2 weeks down the line, you go back to square one again. So what for you, Chris? What kind of tools do you use? over the years that have helped you master your meditations? What kind of stuff do you adopt?
Well, I've used one already, which is guided meditations. But actually, at one time, I would like to meditate in the dark.
Right.
In,
Wow.
in more or less complete darkness, maybe one candle, and I'd find that very peaceful and no distractions really, nothing to sort of catch your eyes even when they're closed. As it stands now, I quite like meditating with just some calming music on quite quietly. I prefer that, but I am starting to use more breath work in a lot of my meditations, which is breathing in deep through the nose right to the solar plexus, and then normally what I'll do is I might hold it for about 5 seconds and then slowly release. And I'll just do that practice a few times, possibly at the beginning of my meditations, and I could just feel I become a little bit more lightheaded and a little bit more calm. I might yawn. There's a bit of a release, just get rid of any tension that my body might be holding. But those are the techniques that I'm using currently. And I think it's, don't give yourself too much of a hard time if you slip off a little bit. As Stephen mentioned, we find ourselves doing it at times. But if you're aware of anything, that's good. So, if you become aware, I've not meditated as much as I feel I should do lately, then you can pull it back and you can improve. Everything's a learning experience. But I know with breath work's very important to you as well, Stephen. A lot of the techniques you've adopted. And also you can use drumming as well. A lot of people like drumming meditations now. They're becoming increasingly more popular. The drum can be a very powerful tool. We've experienced a lot of drum journeys in a group, meditating as a group. And this is what I want to bring in, actually. I've bridged over, I think, by accident onto another subject, but I'm pleased I have, which is meditating with someone else as well. That can be very powerful. So you're not on your own. If you've got a friend or a family member, partner who is interested, meditating together can be very good because you can empower each other. And then you've got sort of, it's like doing anything. If you dedicate yourself to a course or a class, if you've got somebody there with you, you can sort of tell each other off where needs be and say, come on, and sort of help build up that discipline. So meditating in a group can be very powerful and a different experience. I've always enjoyed meditating in our circle and our group. It could be really powerful, very powerful.
Yeah, I think what's really important to mention now, which is sort of thoughts come into my mind, which people often do, sadly, which is they compare and they have expectations. And what we're trying to say with our own experience and things that we've learned over the years is, and something that me and Chris highly promote here in our work at the Purple Mountain, is promoting your individuality. You are an individual spirit, which means that you will adopt your own meditation practice. Everybody's different. I know that me and Chris, we during the lockdown last year, we did run, I think, a 5 or 6 week meditation course, and we shared each week different practices, and some practices work for some people, and some practices work for others. We're all different.
You make a very good point there, Stephen. Sorry to interrupt, but don't be afraid to say something that doesn't work for you. Just be honest and go, that I didn't enjoy that as much as the one I tried the other day, but that is a good lesson within itself, because if you don't try things, how do you know if they won't work or not? Yeah, I just wanted to add that as a very good point.
Yeah, and again, we'll come back down to your intention. You've set your intention. Meditation. I struggle to meditate first thing in the morning because I live last minute in the morning. Something that I need to maybe work on myself there a little bit more. But so I prefer meditating. I do like meditating with people, with the circle, and it's a different form of meditation because it's different energy, different vibrations, different intention. particularly when you're in a circle, when you're a group of people, you find that you are building, you're connecting subconsciously to the collective consciousness, which is very powerful in itself. And I love meditating and healing meditations. I think they are very, very powerful and very much needed as well. But the greatest work, and it's called work for a reason, is working on yourself. And like Chris said before, our aim of today's discussion is promoting, because meditation is free. It's free to do. It's easy to do. And the benefits are endless. What it does to the heart, to the stomach, to your energy centers, to your brain. It is amazing. So why not adopt a free practice of meditation? And it's a profoundly amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of our guiding principles here at the Purple Mountain. Always has been the benefits and the practice of meditation. And I think again, another good point made there was the physical benefits as well. Releasing tension from the body. There are meditations that you can focus on areas of the body where you're feeling pain, and through breathing, breath work, and other techniques, you could release some of that tension or anything trapped, and you could do a lot of work during meditation. It is work in many ways.
I mean, you've just triggered something that I've actually written down on some of my notes about tonight, which was, and I would actually love to do a separate talk on it, which what we call pain release meditations, and how there's a lot of people, all of us, we all suffer with some form of pain, physical pain or emotional pain, and meditation's again an excellent tool to use. There are specific techniques such as breath work, and also what we call acupressure mats that me and Chris absolutely love using. maybe Chris can maybe do a little bit of a talk on that tonight, and we recommend to anybody that to purchase an acupressure.
I'll do better than that. I'm going to show you what they look like while Stephen's talking.
Yeah, go on, bring it, Chris, because I think it's one of the best things that Spirit brought us to the Purple Mountain, and we use it sometimes in our massages, and in an excellent way of helping with your circulation, with your blood flow, with your chi, with your energy. And it's just basically a mat with lots of different little, they're not pins, but they're like little plastic, and then they just push against the skin, so they're quite firm, they're quite hard. So they're called acupressure mats, and you can buy them at Amazon from I think £12 to £30, and you roll them up and you lie on them. You can actually sit on them for your back. And they're great for meditations.
I feel like I'm working on QVC now. We're not selling them, but they're hugely beneficial. And actually, when we bring in the practice of meditation, I brought that into my daily practice. I'll actually lie down on the floor on my acupressure mat, cover myself with a bit of a blanket, and sometimes I use crystals as well. Which is something we've not touched on yet, that you can meditate with different crystals. Those who have crystal collections, that you can meditate and join with that energy during your crystals. And there are some guided meditations that you can use crystals as well.
Wow, yeah, amazing. And I just want to say to everybody that's listening as well, we've had a bit of a meeting today, and we were discussing the reopening of the Purple Mountain. We've set provisional dates, but won't spoil the surprise. But we will be offering, won't we, Chris, in the future in all our retreats, meditation. So if you are available, come down and visit us at the Purple Mountain and experience some of the techniques that we will be offering, and we will adopt different meditation techniques, and we'll be maybe even one retreat we'll be doing acupressure mats. That'll be fantastic, wouldn't it? Really help with pain management. So the
one thing I will say about the acupressure mats, they're a very good investment, anybody wants, but when you first get one, don't put it on the floor, put it on your bed and lie on it, and that'll give you just a gentler introduction to it. because they can be a little bit of a shock when you first use them, then you get used to them.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
But yeah,
So,
as Stephen said there, we practice meditation in all our retreats and classes and circles. Always have done at the Purple Mountain, and even during our when we come together for our meetings. But I want to ask you, Stephen, if there's a technique now that you're able to show us, something that everybody can use. We talked about the candle meditation and the sky pose. Are there any poses or techniques that you'd like to share that everybody watching tonight could have a go at, could try?
Well, yeah, there is a technique I like using, and I find beneficial for me. So don't run out and say, right, Stephen's told me to do this, and this is what I'm doing. It's a practice that's right for me, and it's what we call heart chakra healing and meditation. And I suffer sometimes with a bit of palpitations, a bit of stress. We all do, and I find that I place a crystal in my left hand, and I just simply put a crystal, and a rose quartz crystal, a clear quartz crystal, or I find a jade crystal, and just placing onto my heart, lying down or sat up, and sometimes even place both hands onto my heart here, and I just close my eyes and do some breath work, and I just bring my attention. And again, that's really important. Is about everyone's talking about the mind all the time, and we've not really talked about heart connection or intuitive connection. So we talk about bringing your attention to your heart. So it's a practice that I like doing. And if you really want to enhance your meditation, it is a plant medicine that we love using, which is cacao. And you can make yourself a little bit of a cacao drink first thing in the morning, or I wouldn't. Yeah, maybe not too late at night, because you don't want to, because it feels like you've had an espresso. You don't want to be up all night. It's a great one to start off with, a heart chakra mantra. It's by placing your hands on your heart, closing your eyes, just for 5-10 minutes. Just envisage connecting with your heart and ask yourself, and this is what I do regularly. I say to my heart in my mind, how can I help you more? What do I need to do? Heart, my beautiful heart, what do I need to do to heal you? So therefore, words will come to me, and sometimes words such as you need to slow down more, or you need to rest more. So those thoughts, the heart will speak to me. The heart will speak to me. So that's a really good technique, and I like having the cacao drink, as that's a heart chakra opening as well. So it's again combining a bit of plant medicine and heart chakra. But another technique that I sometimes use in the morning when I'm rushing around like a headless chicken and I'm bumping into things, and actually in the morning, if you feel like you're bumping into things, you're dropping things, it's because you're out of alignment, is you place one hand on your crown and one hand on your heart. And what you do there is you're just balancing, just 5 minutes, do some breath work. You're just balancing your spirit, your auric body, your ethnic body, your emotional body, and you're just balancing it, and that will just help set that day up. So there's a couple of techniques that you can use. Also, a final technique I want to mention as well, which is very effective if you struggle from sleep problems, and that is placing one hand on your heart, one hand on your stomach. You can't see that on the video now, but one hand on your heart, one hand on your solar plexus.
About where your belly button, isn't it? With the solar plexus one. So
you close your eyes and you do some deep breath work, and I can assure you, after 10 minutes of doing that technique, you fall asleep. So that's a couple of techniques that I use. But if you meditate throughout the day, you find that you don't need to always use these tools, because that meditation will set you up for the day. I prefer meditating at night, and I meditate sort of in circle work, and I feel like it resonates more with me. So what about you, Chris? Is there any techniques that you are using at the moment?
I mentioned the breathwork technique already, which I've been using quite often, and I prefer to meditate in the evening. Really important, that one. If anybody's got any questions, feel free to ask them. We hope you've enjoyed this talk tonight so far. Just trying to share knowledge and truth on meditation and our practice of it. There are many, many, many different techniques. Isn't hard to find any of this information if you're looking as well, or certain types of music. We're living in a time where YouTube and places like that you can gain and listen to different types of music and guided meditations, which is just wonderful, really, and very, very helpful. But try different techniques. That's what I would say. Try what works for you. Start off small, 10 minutes, and then work your way up maybe to 30, 40 minutes. Before too long, you'll find it becomes quite effortless, and it'll enrich your life. But I think you started now, Stephen, with we have a question about cacao. So now you mentioned cacao. Would you like to explain just to everybody what cacao is? Before anybody gets the wrong idea.
Yeah, it's legal. It's legal, by the way. So you can get that. It's if you are interested, don't buy the powdered stuff, because I find it's lose its life force. So if you are interested in buying some cacao, try to buy organic raw cacao in blocks. It's not cheap, but you only need a small amount. I think you only need for a low dose, all you do is you dilute it in a cup with hot water, not boiling water, because you don't want you can damage the cacao. So you need about, I find 23 grams. A high dose, you can go up to 48 grams per person. But cacao, well, very simply, everybody's heard of chocolate. That's what cacao is. It's chocolate. What chocolate is now, the chocolate that we eat in the shops, they add milk to it, they add sugar to it, high content of sugar and milk, which then gets rid of the potency. So cacao, it's the purest form of chocolate. So cacao, there's no sugar in cacao, there's no milk in cacao, nor do we recommend to have any milk, because milk's not good for you, sugar's not good for you. So cacao comes from South America. So it's a South American plant, and it's for the cacao bean. They look like little beans. It comes from big pods, a lot of beans. They look like little coffee beans once they're roasted, and they make them into big pastes, into big blocks. So basically, cacao is chocolate. It's the purest form of chocolate you can eat. 100%. You've all tasted, probably, you can't get 100% chocolate in the shop. You probably get like 80%, 90% of dark chocolate, and you know how bitter it can taste. We add, we have cacao ceremonies at the Purple Mountain. So if you're interested, if you're interested in coming and trying out one of our retreats, we use fantastic cacao from a lady called Natasha. I know Aaron Richardson has just mentioned we get our cacao from Natasha. She's our little cacao lady. We will be ordering some more cacao soon for the center. And we add other herbs. We add other herbs like to sweeten it, like honey. We use coconut sugar. So we use other natural things. We can use maca powder.
We added cinnamon and ginger on one we did, I think just before Christmas it was, that went down very well with everyone in the group.
Yeah, and we had a little bit of extra, what we want. You see that cacao is a cardiovascular dilator, so that's what we're talking about, heart opening medicine. So opens the heart. You can feel it working in the heart, and then when you're dancing in the ceremony, you're activating that cacao within your bloodstream, and it's very good for you. It's high in antioxidants. It's a powerful medicine. It's excellent for your liver, good for your kidneys, and you don't pick up the pounds through it either.
Yeah. You can actually microdose with it as well, can't you? You can microdose with cacao. You can have a little bit every day.
Yeah, and first thing in the morning, and I know a lot of people that do that. They have a lot of glass every day, and they set their intention, and they open the heart, do a heart meditation, drink a bit of cacao, and that sets you on your way. A fantastic step to your day, and I can assure you'll have a fantastic day. So I hope I've answered that question there. Was it Laura? Laura that asked that question.
Yeah, it was Laura that asked that, so hope that's helped. And glad everybody's listening in, and I hope you enjoyed tonight. Everybody who's watching, we'll be doing another video on Thursday, so our next video, and it'll be on the importance of water. And then next Monday we have another live video we're going to do, and we will be inviting next Monday a guest, and it's a friend of the centre's actually. They've not been to the centre for a very long time due to we've not held many clairvoyant services in the last year. It's Rob Tweed is going to join us. So he'll be joining us, and we'll be talking about Rob, about his journey, what brought him on the pathway that he's on now. And we'll also be doing some card messages as well between Stephen, Rob and myself. So it'd be lovely to connect with Rob, and I'm sure he'd like to connect with everybody, not only our wider community, but the community of the Purple Mountain that he's not been able to see for a while. So we look forward to that, and much more content to come. So we just want to thank everybody for joining us, and we're going to keep adding content with these videos and sharing our knowledge where we can. So we hope that you found some parts, if not all, interesting this evening. So we'd like to send our love to everybody who's watching. We look forward to connecting with everybody in person, hopefully, as things progress now, because things seem to be changing. We look forward to getting back open again at the Purple Mountain and connecting with everyone. But we're going to keep up this this work as well, because we started these videos as to connect with everybody and to spread knowledge in this time that we've been through. But we feel we're going to keep this up as well, because we like not only connecting in person in our community, but being able to connect this way worldwide. And we've been able to connect to many friends, Maureen in Canada, Marta in Spain as well, and made many lovely connections. So Stephen, is there anything you'd like to add before we close up this evening?
Well, actually, believe it or not, when I've been teaching meditation for so many years, and sometimes you think, when we discussed about doing a meditation talk, you think, it's a bit of a boring subject. And actually, I feel really, I'm not just saying, I feel really inspired tonight with discussing it, and it's inspired me. But I want to say as well that if anybody's interested in any of the, Chris mentioned a couple of people there about in the guided meditations. There is also 3 people that I recommend in the guided meditations. I think what me and Chris can do is share the links on this video, so anybody that's watching maybe later on, not watching it live, can click on and have a look and see for yourself if you like them. And one of them is a lady called Jill Harrison, and she's spelled with a J-I-L. So we'll write the details, and she does a lot of angelic meditations. I was with her on Google Music, but I know Google Music doesn't exist anymore. But I don't know where you'd be able to access some of her stuff.
She's on YouTube as well, Stephen.
Oh, is she?
She's
Brilliant.
on YouTube, yeah.
That's fantastic. Also, which they can be a hit and miss sometimes. It's called The Honest Guys. I find that some of their stuff's pretty good as well. And also, there's another group called New Holistic Center. I find they're very good. And also, I can't remember what her first name is, and it's something called Thompson. And she's an American lady, and I find her voice very soothing and very good. So we will. A lot
of it's in the voice with the guided meditations.
Yeah,
it's the voice that has to resonate with you.
But I think what I've been quite intrigued with tonight is we mentioned a lady called Natasha, and I'm sure she won't mind us. Anybody that is maybe wants to know a little bit more about cacao or wants to buy some cacao, then we might just add a link to Natasha, and you can contact her directly. I think what would be quite interesting maybe in the future is maybe get her to do a talk, and we can do talk about the sacred medicine.
Yeah, we can ask her. I'm sure she'd be willing. I'll do that. Yeah,
I'll leave that to you, Chris.
Good ideas coming up all the time.
Yeah, and if anybody, we like to thank everybody that's been supporting us these past few months, in past 12 months. If you've got any ideas, anything that you would like to see me and Chris doing talks on, then just inbox Chris, inbox me, and we'll come up with a couple of ideas. So thank you for inspiring us.
And plus on that side, if there's anybody that you feel would it would be an interesting chat to get them on here as guests, we're open. Or if you feel actually anybody watching and you have a specific area of the work that you specialize in, feel free to reach out to us and say, you know, I'd love to do a talk. We're very open that way, and you know, anything that can be shared, any knowledge, experience or journey, it's always interesting. We've been very lucky to speak to some lovely people.
And come and visit us. As soon as we're back open, please come and visit us at the Purple Mountain. We do so many different wonderful things, retreats, treatments, readings. Give us a visit, you know, not behind this screen. And it would be great to actually visit you to visit us. I think it would be wonderful. So on behalf of myself, I'd like to thank you very much for listening. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I hope that you're all sleep fantastically tonight and adopt some meditation poses.
Don't forget to meditate.
Yeah, I'm telling you off if you don't. And the spirit are watching. So good night, God bless from all of us at the Purple Mountain.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Bye bye. Enjoy the rest of your evening, whatever you're doing.